Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah wa barakatuh and Ramadan Kareem. The Imam Hussein Charity will be running its food basket campaign again this year, giving you the opportunity to help destitute and impoverished families throughout the whole of Iraq and Afghanistan. Each food basket contains essentials such as rice, flour, dried lemons, tea, fruits and vegetables, oil, tomato paste, dates, and much more. Each basket is £25 and can feed a family of 4 for up to 10 days. You can feed a family of 4 for the whole of Ramadan for only £75. You can donate via bank transfer, PayPal, or visit us at www.imamhusseincharity.com.
In the name of God, the most beneficent, the most merciful. All praise is due to the Lord, Master of all the worlds, and peace and blessings be on all his prophets, and especially the final prophet, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. My respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Umar ibn al-Khattab's threats towards the house of Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam can be seen in a number of books in early Islamic literature. Indeed, for some who are not brought up in a Shia household, they probably would have never heard of such a claim, or indeed would have never heard of such a thing being referenced in any lecture or indeed in any discussion. But you find that there is this incident that occurs after Saqifa. As we had seen in the previous nights, that there have been two camps that emerge after Saqifa. One is the camp of Abu Bakr, Umar, Abu Ubaidah, and so on. And those who have come forward as the camp who want to push forward the Khilafah of Abu Bakr by ensuring that a pledge of allegiance is given, especially by the other camp being the camp of Imam Ali alayhi salam, the camp of Zubair, the camp of Salman and Abu Dhar. Talha is also in this camp, Al-Miqdad's in this camp. So you've got a lot of known names amongst the Muhajirun who I have just listed, who have a major difference of opinion when it comes to authority. Some will say that yes, we accept this, but we do not accept that Umar ibn al-Khattab threatens to burn the house of Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam, because on the first level, this would shatter the Sunni worldview, which is that Umar ibn al-Khattab is seen as the second rightly guided caliph. Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam, in the Sunni worldview, on the first level, they'll say that she is the daughter of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa. Then on the second level, those who know their literature will say that she is Sayyidat al-Nisa. So now, if there is such a situation, and you were to ask anybody today this question, that if Umar is proved to have threatened to burn the house where Fatima is sitting, where Imam Ali is standing, where Imam al-Hassan and Imam al-Hussein are sleeping, what would you then conclude about Umar ibn al-Khattab? This, of course, brings about a back and forth, this particular incident. The Sunni rejects the Shia narration, and the Shia come forward very clearly with their opinion and reject the Sunni arguments in defense of Umar. And this brings us to an important point. Know one thing, my dear brothers and sisters, that in reality, whether you're Sunni or you're Shia, every incident that we've looked at, and all the incidents that we'll look at in the future, a person can never be 100% objective when they're examining these incidents. There's always some subjectivity involved. If you're a Sunni, you can never say that I have an objective standard for verifying truth. And if you're a Shia, the reality is that you cannot say that none of your beliefs have an effect on the way that you examine literature. If any Sunni in the world today comes and says that I want to look at an incident objectively, the reality is there will always be some sort of subjective angle in the way they look at that incident. On the most basic level, if I've been brought up in a household where all the Sahaba of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi are promised paradise, on the most basic level, not even on the scholarly level, then when I see an incident, that automatically becomes something by which I judge the narration in front of me. Say, for example, that you're a scholar and that you believe that you have a framework built on, for example, a verse like Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim وَالسَّابِقُونَ الْأَوَّلُونَ مِنَ الْمُهَاجِرِينَ وَالْأَنصَارِ وَالَّذِينَ اتَّبَعُوهُمْ بِإِحْسَانٍ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُمْ وَرَضُوا عَنْهُ. That the foremost of the companions are the migrants and the helpers, and those who follow them in goodness, Allah is pleased with them and they are pleased with what Allah promises them. If that is something that I use when I examine any incident, I have to try and find a way of explaining that incident in relation to that particular verse. It no longer becomes objective, it becomes subjective. Why? Because the way now that I will view these incidents will be based on either a verse in the Quran which sheds light for me on the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, or maybe a hadith, for example. If I have a hadith about the companions, that my companions are like stars. They are your guides. If I look at that hadith, then when I'm going to look at an incident where Umar ibn al-Khattab threatens to burn the house of Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam, then what do I do with the verse that I have and the hadith that I have? Automatically then, I am not someone anymore who's objective. I have also got a framework that I have developed, and that I use that framework in looking at any incident. Say, for example, amongst the Ash'ari scholars were those who believed that the Sahaba are mujtahids. That means that whenever a Sahabi does something, it comes down to his ijtihad. In ijtihad, if your ijtihad is correct, you get rewarded. And if it's incorrect, what happens? You might get less of a reward. But what happens is that I superimpose now this framework onto any incident that I see. And this, by the way, occurred in early Islam. When it occurred in early Islam, how did it occur? It occurred with the fact that you'll see that there were certain people, because they were pro-Alid, because they were known as the Rawafid, because they supported Alid revolutions, because they were known to praise Imam Ali alayhi salam ahead of Uthman, only ahead of Uthman, not ahead of Abu Bakr and Umar. They done tafdeel of Imam Ali ahead of Uthman. Straight away, there was less chance of a hadith being taken from such people, irrespective of whether there was authenticity or not. Why? Because already that person has affected the objective framework that I've built, supposedly objective, but in reality becomes subjective. Even within the Sunni world, those, when they examine Umar's threat on Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam, try and give you their examination based on a framework that that individual has developed. That individual, whatever framework that individual has developed, they will give you that framework. Not all Sunni scholars will come to you with the same framework of who they view as reliable and who they don't view as reliable. And then what does that mean? That means the moment you show somebody one of these opinions, he'll say, I don't take that scholar, I take another. Easy way to get out. And there's no longer an objective standard. For example, if I see Dar Qutni, for example, does not take from Imran bin Hattan, because Imran bin Hattan was who? Was one of the Nawasib haters of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Dar Qutni is a renowned Sunni scholar. But he will not take the narrations of Imran bin Hattan. Whereas Al-Bukhari, author of the Sahih, takes narrations from Imran bin Hattan. Both are Sunni. But look at their subjective frameworks. That one of them says, I will take from so-and-so another. You know what that literally means? So when you're having a discussion with someone, if he knows that, you know what, I need this scholar's opinion on this issue, let me use him now. But the other one, I don't really need him now, but I'll use him another time when the Shia offer a particular argument. Abu Mikhnaf, for example. Ibn Hajar may use Abu Mikhnaf as reliable. Al-Dhahabi may reject Abu Mikhnaf. Ibn Hajar is a Sunni scholar. Al-Dhahabi is a Sunni scholar, true? But both of them, when it comes to narrators, one may pick somebody, the other may reject. That means when someone comes and tells you, let's look at something objectively, the reality, and I'm going to be very frank about this, the reality is whether you're Sunni or you're Shia, when you look at a narration, you already have a framework, either because of where you were raised, or because of your scholarly conclusions, or because you know enough variances in opinions, you have a framework to know who to use, when to use, and how to fit in what suits your framework. So when someone says to you, show me a sahih narration on this issue, I reply, sahih according to whose standards? Because you could easily turn around, Ibn Hajar his understanding, or Dhahabi's, Dar Qutni's understanding, or Bukhari's. Do you take from Tabi'een or you don't take from Tabi'een? Are you going to accept all Sahih traditions? Will you take the Mursal tradition? All of them may come with their own ijtihad framework on these issues and then tell you, show me Sahih. Sahih according to you, you have a particular framework. I can show you someone in a Sunni mosque 15 minutes away from you who has a completely different framework in the way that they study a hadith. Ultimately, then someone says, then how can we develop some sort of objective framework? One of the ways is that if I find that there are certain incidents which are narrated not just in my school but in other schools. So I'm not being biased now. I'm saying that there are incidents, they are in mine and in others. They bring me a certain amount of certainty or contentment. This is a vital point before I go into the literature on Umar ibn al-Khattab's threat to burn the house of Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam. When I look at these incidents, can I say that I will definitely, as a Shi'i, reach a 100% conclusion where I have certainty, yaqeen, that this is what happened to the house of Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam? Yaqeen bil-ma'na al-khas. In its particular meaning, there is no way that I can have 100% certainty because I was not there in Medina on that day, obviously, true? I was not there. Even now when it comes to Usul al-Din, there are some aspects of Usul al-Din. I cannot say that I met Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa and I have 100% certainty that Rasulullah said this and this. Either I go towards yaqeen in the general meaning, which is there's enough traditions across the board to give me certainty. Sometimes people used methods of learning such as tawatur. If a hadith was mutawatir, like hadith al-Ghadir, for example, or hadith al-Thaqalain, you will say that it's been narrated too many times for it to be a scam, for it to be a lie. Was I there at Ghadir? No, I was not there. Was I there when Thaqalain happened? Inni tarikun fikum, when the Prophet said? No. But I have enough certainty reached that this incident could have taken place, even though the finer parts I may not have reached. Yaqeen bil-ma'na al-khas is virtually impossible in many areas of life. Yaqeen bil-ma'na al-'am is more possible. Then I can go on to itmi'nan. Contentment can also be a level of knowledge. Yaqeen, itmi'nan. From there I move on to other worlds of knowledge such as dhan and shak and yaqeen and those and those who have studied all of these areas, whether in mantiq or whether in usul al-fiqh, will know that ultimately, when I come to study Umar versus Fatima, I as a Shi'i will put my hand up to say that I was not at the incident, no chance. But I may reach a level either of itmi'nan or of yaqeen because of corroborative evidence that something sordid has taken place to the house of Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam. Because I've seen sometimes our people, when even we can fall into that trap when we're giving lectures in Fatimiyya, we can fall into this trap where sometimes I'm talking as if I was there. True? I was not there. So then someone will say to me, how are you so certain? I say, certainty, number one, yaqeen has levels. I saw those cameramen in front of me today. I have yaqeen bil ma'na al khas. 100% I saw the people in front of me. Yaqeen bil ma'na al-'am, I may come through other angles and other variables where I'm saying not just in my Shia literature, but in Sunni literature, when I see clearly there are companions who would not give bay'ah to Abu Bakr when Saqifa happened. Clearly there is a group of companions who have gathered in the house of Fatima al-Zahra alayha salam. Clearly the companions are not united and there isn't consensus on the legitimacy of Abu Bakr's Khilafah. And then I begin to open more literature about the burning of the house of Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam. At the minimum, I reach itmi'nan that something sordid happened to the house of Bibi Fatima alayhi salam. Every Shi'i scholar throughout history, every single one believed that a threat happened to the house of Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam. Someone says yes, but there are some Shia scholars, they don't believe every minor details. If you go to your average Shia majlis, sometimes you hear some Mawlana saying that Fatima al-Zahra was slapped, Fatima al-Zahra was kicked, Fatima al-Zahra was punched, Fatima al-Zahra. Have all the scholars agreed on these minor details bit by bit? And when I say minor, I mean in terms of the different aspects of the musibah? Not necessarily. Have scholars in some cases reached itmi'nan on some of these? Contentment? Yes. Have others reached a certain level of yaqeen on them? Yes. Have others come to a level just below itmi'nan? Yes. But 100% of all of them believe Umar ibn al-Khattab definitely threatened to burn that house. Shaykh al-Mufid, Shaykh al-Tusi, Sharif al-Murtada, read their works in relation to Imamah. Whether you go to the Shafi, whether you go to the Talkhis, whether you go to any of their works, read their discussion on what the unanimous opinion in the school of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam is, that they go as far as the broken rib of Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam. But what's unanimous amongst the Shia ulama from then till today is that there was a threat on the house and a threat to burn the house of Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam. Why was there this threat to burn the house of Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam? For what reason was there this threat? Amongst the reasons was, of course, that a newly formed government has emerged, and that government believes that there is a militia group who have weapons, who are plotting something in someone's house. Therefore, they have the right to go and knock at the door of that house. Where did we leave yesterday? We left at Kitab al-Sunnah. Everybody come here. We all left here at Kitab al-Sunnah. All of you could see, written by Abu Abd al-Rahman, Abdullah ibn al-Imam, Ahmed bin Hanbal. When we came over here, my dear brothers and sisters, we came. It was published 2022, as you could all see. Translated by who? Translated by Abu Hajar. Published Al-Aqidah. All of you saw yesterday that when it came to the section on the pledge of the allegiance to Imam Ali alayhi salam, what did the hadith say? And some men from the Muhajirun became angry regarding the pledge of allegiance to Abu Bakr. And amongst them were Ali ibn Abi Talib and Zubair. Ali and Zubair have become amongst the group who are angry, come back. So they both entered the house of Fatima al-Zahra and they had weapons with them. So Imam Ali naturally goes back to the house of his wife. His cousin Zubair is with him. There are others who are now in that house. Then Umar came to them along with a group of the Muslims. Amongst them were Usayd and Salama bin Salama. And these were from Banu al-Ashhal. And it is said that amongst them Thabit bin Qais. Then one of them took the sword of Zubair and struck a stone with it until the sword broke. So already we have, when I'm trying to look at this objectively, I'm seeing that Ahmad bin Hanbal's son, Abdullah, is the same person who's narrating that there's been a fight taken place on the first visit to the house of Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam. A fight has taken place. That shows us that when I say the first visit, it means that the house of Fatima, because it was the center of operations of the opposition movement, there must have been a number of visits to that house. Sometimes people assume that there's only been one visit to the house of Fatima al-Zahra and that was it. No. At the moment, we have a visit directly after Saqifa to the house of Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam. After Saqifa, Umar ibn al-Khattab has already decided that it doesn't matter if Zubair والسابقون الأولون من المهاجرين, Zubair is in them. Imam Ali والسابقون الأولون من المهاجرين, Imam Ali is amongst those who did hijrah. Salman والسابقون الأولون من المهاجرين, Salman. أبو ذر والسابقون الأولون من المهاجرين, أبو ذر. عمار بن ياسر والسابقون الأولون من المهاجرين, عمار بن ياسر. There are والسابقون الأولون من المهاجرين والأنصار. Even that as an objective framework comes back to subjectivity. Why? How many of them are the ones that we refer to as the ones who are definitely the highest of the companions? What number of them are we talking about? What levels are they to be graded in? Who is higher than who from amongst them? No problem. All I see now is that when the Sunni argument says the Muhajirun, they are the ones who left Mecca to look after Rasulullah's message, you Shia disrespect them. I say Umar ibn al-Khattab had no problem disrespecting them. Umar ibn al-Khattab had no problem disrespecting the Muhajirun. So why do you live a life of worship of the Muhajirun when Umar ibn al-Khattab has no problem having a blatant punch-up with a Zubair? And remember, in the Sunni world, never forget this point. The 10 who are granted Jannah. Abu Bakr, Umar, Ali and Zubair, 4 of them, and they're having a punch-up. And the lady who owns Jannah, it happens to be in her house. Now, what do you present to non-Muslims if non-Muslims read this? The non-Muslim, if they read this, they'll say, wait, so Fatima is the one who owns Jannah. You say, yeah, Fatima owns Jannah. Yes, she's Sayyidat Nisa al-Jannah. She goes, okay. And Muhammad's closest ones are having a punch-up in her house. Say, yeah. Say, so you want me to join that religion? Hold on, did your prophet not give you instructions what to do? Because it seems a mess. But no, this is where you suspend aql. Why? Because you go back to subjective, not objective. You come back, hold on, my worldview, Sahaba, anyone who says that there's a fitna between them, we do not take that person's hadith. Anyone who insults the Sahaba, no way. Ahmad bin Hanbal even reaches a stage where he goes like this, if anyone comments badly about the Sahaba. I see here that Fatima al-Zahra's house, the first time it's been visited, there's a fight. What's there to stop more violence later? Every Muslim agrees that Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam died 6 months after Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And in certain parts of Shia literature, we talk about her dying, for example, 2.5, 3 months after. Irrespective, she dies at a young age. There's already her house, which Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he used to walk past, used to say, salams, O people of the house. Now her house has become the house of violence between the closest to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. Someone said, Ammar, yeah, okay, listen, a punch-up happens, swords are broken, so on and so forth. I can understand that. But where does it mention anything about burning? Come with me over here. Everyone look at this. Tariq al-Tabari, the history of al-Tabari. Al-Tabari, one of the most famous Sunni scholars, lived 1,000 years or more. So, for volume 9, the last years of the Prophet, peace be upon him and his family, translated and annotated by Ismail K. Punawala. Come back here, the history of al-Tabari, volume 9, the last years of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, literally, Tabari is discussing what's happening in the last years. Translated and annotated by Ismail K. Punawala. Editorial Board, Serious and Near Eastern Studies, SUNY Press, State University of New York Press. All of you could see it over here. When was it published? 1990, State University of New York. Okay? Tabari is talking about the events of which year? The events of the year 11 after Hijrah. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, as all Muslims know, died in the 11th year after Hijrah. So Tabari will give us some insight as to what's happening. I'm not using a Shia Maulana, Shia Alim, Shia Khatib, Shia Zakir. Let's use Tabari. Let's see what he says. Because I don't want to superimpose my worldview on this. Let's see what Tabari says. Come here with me. Tabari begins here by saying, the Ansar gathered in a roofed building, Saqifa. When we talk of roofs in the Iraqi community, we say Saquf. In a roofed building, Saqifa, of the Banu Sa'd, to render their oath of allegiance to Sa'ad bin Ubadah. This news reached Abu Bakr, so he came to them with Umar and Abu Ubaid al-Jarrah, asking them why they had gathered. The Ansar have gathered. They replied, let us have a ruler from amongst us and another from you. Abu Bakr then added, I am pleased to offer you one of these two men. Listen, you people, you want to have a ruler from you and a ruler from us, which clearly shows that the early Sunni opinion wasn't that Abu Bakr is the ruler, because the Ansar of Medina have no interest of appointing him as the main ruler. They say a ruler from you and a ruler from us. Let us have a ruler from us and another from you. Abu Bakr said the rulers will be from us and the wuzara from you. Abu Bakr said, no. I have my worldview now, my theory. Ruler from us, you guys can be wuzara. You know, when you want to set up an operation, you're like, you know what, my cousins, you guys, you be on the board of trustees, but you're not CEOs. I am pleased to offer you one of these two men, Umar or Abu Ubaidah. Some people came to the Prophet asking him to send a trustworthy man with them. The Messenger of God said that he would send a truly trustworthy man with them, and he sent Abu Ubaidah al-Jarrah. I am pleased to offer you Abu Ubaidah. Umar stood up saying, who amongst you would be agreeable to leave Abu Bakr, whom the Prophet gave precedence? Umar is the flag bearer, alamdar for Abu Bakr. He is the one who's saying, how could you leave Abu Bakr when Rasul has given him precedence? And you know what kills me about these lines? If you were to list all of the precedents of Abu Bakr and all of them of Imam Ali alayhi salam, I guarantee you there's more for Amir al-Mu'mineen. But there's no need for Ali. Let's move on. Ali is too young. And he gave him the oath of allegiance. The people followed Umar. The Ansar said, or some of them said, we will not give the oath of allegiance to anyone except Ali. Ansar are at Saqifa. They're choosing a leader. We all agree? The Ansar are choosing a leader at Saqifa. Abu Bakr, Umar, and Abu Ubaidah, the triumvirate. They come, Umar says, you know what? It should be Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr offers Umar, so you see there's no clear. You see, if it was clear as day, then straight away everyone would be like, you know what? Rasulullah had made it clear. No. Umar says Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr says Umar. The Ansar are like, actually, nah. Only Ali. Come back here. The Ansar said, we will not give the oath of allegiance to anyone except Ali. Why? Why not Abu Bakr? Abu Bakr was in the cave. Ali was announced at Ghadir. Abu Bakr was the father-in-law of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Imam Ali was the son-in-law. Abu Bakr was the first adult convert. We go with this. Imam Ali was the first young convert. What next? Abu Bakr was in the cave in Hijrah. Imam Ali was sleeping in the bed of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam on the night of Hijrah. What else? Imam Ali in the brotherhood pairing between Muhajir and Ansar, when the Muhajir took a brother from the Ansar, Rasulullah took him. Imam Ali is to the Prophet like Aaron was to Moses. Imam Ali alayhi salam is the one for Khaybar and Khandaq and all the other merits I can name one by one. And I can continue giving lists. The reality is that for the Ansar, they said, we will not give the pledge of allegiance to anyone but Ali. When someone tells me, you Shia, you've raised Ali, I said, no. It wasn't me who raised Ali. A day after Rasulullah died, his own Ansar was saying it was Ali. Come here. Read this. Umar ibn al-Khattab came to the house of Ali. Talha, Zubair, and some of the Muhajirun were also in the house with Ali. Umar cried out, by God, either you come out to render the oath of allegiance to Abu Bakr, or I will set the house on fire. Let's come back. Read it again. Umar ibn al-Khattab came to the house of Ali. Talha, Zubair, and some of the Muhajirun were also in the house with Ali. Umar cried out, by God, either you come out to render the oath of allegiance to Abu Bakr, or I will set the house on fire. You know, I remember one Sunni scholar, he was like, he wasn't going to do it, it's just threatening you. Like the Prophet would threaten someone, he's just threatening. I don't know about you, and I don't know about people's psychological tendencies, but when someone's telling me I'm going to burn your house, I get worried. Do you agree? You agree or no? When someone says, I'm going to burn your house, I'm going to set the house on fire, but I might only be joking. I'm going to set your house on fire, but I'm just threatening you. What's the first thing you would do? I'd go to police straight away. Would you agree? The problem is the police are now Ali ibn Abi Talib's oldest enemies. The Tulaqa are now the police. The ones whose dads were killed by Ali are now the police. No problem. Let's relax here a little bit and enjoy this. Umar ibn al-Khattab says, I will set the house on fire. So you as a Muslim have no problem with Umar saying that I'll set Ali's house, Fatima's house on fire? Because you're the same one who says, I love Ahlul Bayt, don't you? How many comments do you write where you say, we love Ahlul Bayt as well? It's not just the Shia. We love Ahlul Bayt, we love Ahlul Bayt, we love Ahlul. How about someone who's ready to burn the house where Ahlul Bayt are gathering? What would you say about them? You say you love the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What if you have a choice between Abu Bakr and Umar on one side, Talha and Zubair on the other? Who'd you pick? You see, that wasn't really a dilemma for you at Saqifa. At Jamal, it became the biggest headache for you. You can't hide what happened at Jamal because your companions were ready to fight each other and shed each other's blood. Come back. Umar ibn al-Khattab came to the house of Ali, Talha and Zubair, and some of the Muhajirun were also in the house with Ali. Umar cried out, by God, either you come out, render the oath of allegiance to Abu Bakr, or I will set the house on fire. As Zubair came out with his sword drawn. If you ever wanted to look at the myth of the ultimate decency of all the Sahaba of Rasulullah, look at Zubair versus Umar with the sword fights. As Zubair came out with his sword drawn, as he stumbled upon something, the sword fell from his hand, so they jumped over him and seized him. Sahaba all best friends, correct? I'm the one who's crazy. I'm the one to be insulted for my intelligence. And here it continues on the next page. Come here. They demanded confirmation of the oath, but Ali and Zubair stayed away. As Zubair drew his sword from the scabbard, saying, I will not put it back until the oath of allegiance is rendered to Ali. So what do I become? Shi'at Ali or Shia of Abu Bakr? What do I become? Because you always tell me that Islam shouldn't have been divided into sects. I didn't divide into sects. I held on to the man chosen, Ghadir. It's those who oppose him who made sects. For years, the Shia were bullied that you are a sect and Allah does not like sects. No sect here. We held on to Ali ibn Abi Talib. Zubair even did. Talha even did. Salman, Abu Dhar, Miqdad certainly did. The sect is the one that is ready to raise their swords and burn houses. That's not what I'm joining. I stick to Islam without sects. And that's Shi'at Ali. Where else? If we look over here at this interesting work, you'll see again Umar ibn al-Khattab's threat to burn the house of Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam. It's not some random Shia reading which the Shia made up. You want to disagree with me? It's up to you. Wallahi, listen, you have your grave, I have mine. You have your akhirah, I have mine. You have your intentions, I have mine. You have your objectivities and subjectivities, and so do I have mine. But you cannot deny that Tabari is such an early text. Even earlier is this one here. Al-Kitab al-Musannaf. Everybody please look at here. Fil ahadith wal athar. Of who? Of Ibn Abi Shaybah. We look over here, the man died literally 200 years and just above 200 years after Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. Al-Mujallad al-Sabi', volume 7, Dar al-Kutub al-Almiyya, Beirut, Lebanon. We come over here and we see that once again, we have this narration. If you come, my dear brothers and sisters, over here, hadith number 37,034. There's some mad, huge hadith numbers, you know. 37,034. Okay, page 400 at the bottom over here, my dear brothers and sisters. Come to the bottom. Page 433. Okay. We've got this narration here, Muhammad bin Bishr from Ubaidullah bin Umar, and then it continues. Even in one narration, I remember seeing Umrana. حدثنا زيد بن أسلم عن أبيه أسلم. So this Zayd bin Aslam and his father Aslam, of course, these people are people who Bukhari would take narrations from comfortably. That he would say, for example, here, if you go back, Zayd, the son of Aslam, Aslam from his father, okay, Zayd bin Aslam, and then Zayd from his father Aslam. Bukhari would take from Aslam quite comfortably. Just in case someone wants to question the validity of whether Aslam even met Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. I remember reading, if I could just go to Sahih al-Bukhari, I remember reading within Bukhari this interesting part over here, where it had looked at the fact that Bukhari would take from him, directly from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. Come back here, please. So we're here on Sahih al-Bukhari, the translation of the meanings of Sahih al-Bukhari, Arabic English, volume 6, Ahadith 4474 to 5062. All of you could see it. When we come here to page 437, I just want to verify the chain of this narration, which we're about to see Umar threatening to burn the house, the most beloved house of the daughter of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. And someone might ask that, you know, Zayd bin Aslam, is it connected to Rasulullah? It says Zayd bin Aslam from his father Aslam narrating. And here Bukhari actually uses him. If you look over here, page 437, you'll see 12, the chapter of the superiority of Surah Al-Fath. Hadith number 5012. حدثنا إسماعيل قال حدثني مالك عن زيد بن أسلم عن أبيه أن رسول الله كان يسير في بعض أسفاره وعمر بن الخطاب يسير معه ليلا. So here I have that chain which I've looked at, the isnad of this hadith. Zayd bin Aslam from his father Aslam. Anna Rasulallahi. So Aslam has this access direct. Because someone might say that these could be mursal. Reality is there's a reason these are sahih. Now remember, if we play this clip, if you don't mind, clip number 1, very clearly how Sheikh Uthman Khamis actually had questioned this part about whether Aslam could be used, whether Zayd bin Aslam even had access to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. We see here Zayd bin Aslam, and then from who? From Aslam, very clearly being used in Bukhari, from the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. Shaykh Uthman Khamis, interestingly, in his denial of what's happened with Fatima Zahra alayhi salam, himself tries to pose this question that no such thing even existed. Let's play the clip.
وأما عزم عمر على تحريق بيت فاطمة أو بيت علي لمن تأخر عن البيعة، فنقول أولا لم يكن هناك تأخر عن البيعة على الصحيح كما بيناه، بل بايع الجميع أبا بكر. هذا أمر. الأمر الثاني، القصة منقطعة، راويها أسلم، اسمه أسلم والد زيد. أسلم هذا لم يكن موجودا في تلك الحادثة، فهو رواها عن شخص، وهذا الشخص الله أعلم من يكون. فالقصة لا تصح، لا في هم عمر بإحراق البيت، ثم القصة التي هي أبطل وأشنع، وهي أن عمر ضرب الباب فكسر ضلع فاطمة رضي الله عنها. كل هذا لا يصح منه شيء. ففاطمة عند أمير المؤمنين وعند جميع أصحاب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أكرم من أن يفعل بها هذا.
So he tries to escape from this by saying that, where is the connection of this chain of Zayd to Aslam? Aslam here, Bukhari says that Aslam directly to Rasulullah, and Zayd ibn Aslam عن أبيه أن رسول الله كان يسير في بعض أسفاره وعمر بن الخطاب يسير معه ليلا. So here we have quite a connected chain, enough for us to call it sahih. Let's come back to see what exactly it says, my dear brothers and sisters. Says over here, حين بويع لأبي بكر بعد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله كان علي والزبير يدخلان على فاطمة بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. And what would they do? فيشاورونها ويرتجعون في أمرهم. So Ali, Imam Ali alayhi salam, and Zubair, when Abu Bakr had been given the bay'ah, they would what? They would go to the house of Fatima Zahra alayhi salam, and they would discuss what was happening. فلما بلغ ذلك عمر بن الخطاب, when Umar was told this, خرج حتى دخل على فاطمة فقال, when Umar ibn al-Khattab heard this, he came towards Fatima Zahra alayhi salam, and he said to her very interesting lines. Quite interesting how he goes from one extreme to the other. Listen to this. يا بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله والله ما من أحد أحب إلينا من أبيك وما من أحد أحب إلينا بعد أبيك منك وأيم الله ما ذاك بمعاني أن اجتمع هؤلاء النفر عندك إن أمرتهم أن يحرق عليهم البيت. He says that, O Fatima, no one is more beloved to us after your father than you. No one's more beloved to us than your father. But if these people continue to gather in this house, then what will I do? Look at it very clearly. وَأَيْمُ here is a swearing by Allah, that by Allah إن اجتمع هؤلاء النفر عندك إن أمرتهم أن يحرق عليهم البيت. That I will make sure that the order is given. Nothing will prevent me to order that the house is burnt over you. And she has to go back and says to them, she has to return to them, and she says that Umar came to me, قد جاءني وقد حلف بالله لأن عدتم ليحرقن عليكم البيت وأيم الله ليمضين لما حلف عليه. She said that Umar has sworn that he will burn over this house. Meaning that Umar ibn al-Khattab has sworn that although we love your dad and we love you after your dad more than anyone, but if this continues to happen, then we will burn the house over you. Firstly, people say to me, why do people do Fatimiyya majalis? The house of the daughter of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa has got people who are threatening to burn it after Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa died. This is the beginning of the dhulm against Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Karbala was what was the conclusion. But here in this piece of literature, not written 800 years after Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa nor written 1,000 years after Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa but rather written 200 or so years after Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa died, around the time just after even Bukhari and Muslim, that period. Clearly, Umar ibn al-Khattab, in his words with Fatima al-Zahra, who Rasulullah had already said, Fatima is a part of me, whoever angers her angers me. Umar ibn al-Khattab is blatantly saying that we will burn over the house. Someone said to me, it didn't say we'll burn the house, we'll burn over the house. I don't know, like mathematically speaking, you burn inside or outside, there's major problems. Do you agree? I'm sure there's major problems irrespective. So what's the argument that the Sunni offers? Argument that the Sunni offers either will come from a door that, you know what, in my framework, and you know, each of the Sunni scholars out there, and all of those who will comment on, all of them has his framework. Abu Mikhdaf, me yes, him no. Imran bin Hattan, him yes, me no. Sa'id ibn Jubair, him yes, me no. This one, him yes, me no. Each one of them has their framework. They play with you according to the framework they want to use for that issue. Today, I am not going past 300 years after Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa has died when it comes to our literature looking at the burning of the house of Fatima al-Zahra. When people say, why do you Shia do Fatimiyya? I'm remembering the masa'ib and the dhulm against Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. That Rasulullah a few weeks earlier had said, I leave behind for you the Quran and the Ahlul Bayt. Sunni brothers and sisters say, no. He didn't say Quran and Ahlul Bayt. He said Quran and I ask you to look after my Ahlul Bayt. What's that? What's that? That's looking after? Is that what you're proud of? Really? That's looking after? Again, another early text. And this will be the last of the texts that I will use today. I don't want to go into Baladhari, and I don't want to go into other of the early texts that I could go into to show you that I'm using non-Shia texts that discuss the burning of the house of Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam. All of you come here, please. Al-Aqdul Farid. This book is, of course, of the famous poet, writer, Al-Faqih Ahmad bin Muhammad bin Abd Rabbah, known as Al-Andalusi, who also died 328. So he was alive from about 246 after Hijrah till about 328 after Hijrah. So he was alive around the time of Imam al-Askari alayhi salam. Okay, so we're talking relatively early. He blatantly opens up on the discussion concerning the burning of the house. And you will see over here that this is Al-Mujallad Al-Khamis, the 5th volume, Dar Al-Kutub Al-Ilmiya, Beirut, Lebanon. Yep. All of you can see here, just in case some Shia out there say that, you know, at the end of the day, why do we remember what's happened with Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam? Fatima al-Zahra became the symbol of the opposition to the newly formed sect of Islam that left the pure path of Ali ibn Abi Talib and his Shia, who were the followers of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's why we honor Fatima and Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam. Come here. The year 2013, published, printed in Lebanon, edition 4th. All of you could see clearly here. Come with me very early in the book to page 13. This section here, الذين تخلفوا عن بيعة أبي بكر, these are the people who did not give bay'ah to Abu Bakr. The image has always been given that everybody gave bay'ah. You will see that there are a list of those. Ali, Al-Abbas, Zubair, Sa'ad bin Ubadah. These were the ones who did not give bay'ah to who? To Abu Bakr. فأما علي والعباس والزبير فقعدوا في بيت فاطمة عليه السلام حتى بعث إليهم Abu Bakr, Umar ibn al-Khattab. Because they were gathering there, Abu Bakr sends Umar. So you've got this order of either Abu Bakr sending Umar there, or Umar sending people there, or Umar going there. What's important for us to realize is that already the government has no limits to what they're willing to do against Ali and Fatima. They want them to do what? يخرجوا من بيت فاطمة. They want them to get out of the house of Fatima. Get out. You don't get out, we're going to burn this house. Now imagine someone wants you out of that house, and if you don't get out, what are they going to do to the house? A government wants you to get out of the house is repossessed, you are all to be arrested, whatever different criminal charge. If you don't get out, what's the government going to do? Smash the house down, do you agree? Smash the door down or no? If you're not answering, we're going to smash the door down. He sent Umar ibn al-Khattab to get them out of the house. وَقَالَ لَهُ إِنْ أَبَوْا فَقَاتِلْهُمْ. If they don't get out of the house, then fight them. This is al-Kafi? No. This is من لا يحضره الفقيه? No. تهذيب الأحكام? No. الاستبصار? No. وسائل الشيعة? No. مستدرك الوسائل? No. بحار? No. كتاب سليم? No. Where is this? Al-Aqd al-Farid. We're talking 200 years or so, 250 years after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam died. When the majority of these books begin to emerge, Bukhari, Muslim, Tirmidhi, Nasa'i, Abu Dawood, Ibn Majah, all of them, from the end of the 2nd century until the end of the 3rd century. And then Tabari, Baladhuri, all of these. In Abaw faqatilhum. If they don't get out of the house, fight them. How do you fight them? I tell you, listen, if those guys don't leave the house, fight them. They're not leaving. What are you going to do to the house? What are you going to do? فأقبل بقبس من نار على أن يضرم عليهم الدار. So he wanted to come with that fire. He's come with that fire towards the house. فلقيته فاطمة فقالت يا ابن الخطاب أجئت لتحرق دارنا. O son of Khattab, you have come to burn our house. Quran in Surah 24, verse number 27, what does the Quran say? O you who believe, don't enter people's houses other than your own house until you've sought familiarity, permission, and saluted the people of the house. This is best for you. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تدخلوا بيوتا غير بيوتكم حتى تستأنسوا وتسلموا على أهلها. Normal people's houses, before I go in, salamu alaikum, there's a way to talk. How about the greatest house, the house of Fatima? Umar comes with fire. Fatima al-Zahra says, O son of Khattab, you've come to burn the house, our house? He said, yes. Or you enter what the rest of the ummah has decided to enter in. Meaning, unless you give bay'ah to Abu Bakr. And then it continues, فَخَرَجَ عَلِي حَتَّى دَخَلَ عَلَى أَبِي بَكْرٍ فَبَايَعَهُ, and so on and so forth, which then goes on to, of course, the narration that Imam Ali went and he told Abu Bakr that the only reason I haven't given you bay'ah is because of a promise that I made to the Prophet to compile the Quran, even though the contradictions are rife. 1 minute it was straight away, the next minute it was 6 months later. After Fatima died, Bukhari said Imam Ali gave bay'ah. Here seemingly it's on another incident. The bay'ah contradictions are rife. But suffice for us, my dear brothers and sisters, to see that we will burn the house is a threat that Umar made, that some Sunni ulama do not deny, but they say it was just a threat. Rasulullah threatened. For example, they say Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam, when he said, even if my daughter Fatima stole, I would cut off her hands. But does that mean he'd do it? Firstly, I don't even want to take such a hadith, not interested in it. But secondly, when someone threatens to burn my house, there's a major issue with that person. If it was a normal human being living in 2024 who's a Muslim, who may be facing difficulties, I'll say they're a Muslim, humans make mistakes and so on. When you're doing it against Imam Ali alayhi salam and Sayyidat Nisa al-Alameen, then you have to answer Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for what you went ahead and proceeded with. And if they don't, then fight them. But make sure that they pledge what the others pledge. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what happened in that house. Allah knows who threatened that house with fire. Allah knows Fatima al-Zahra died shortly after. Inshallah, in the next few nights, we'll honor Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam with his shahada. Do not forget me in your du'as. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
I ask you all to support Imam al-Hussein TV for the future of your youth, for the future of Shiaism. Every single person's life is dependent on your education, and Imam Hussein TV provides you a free Islamic education.
If you want to have good programs, if you want to have a source to help your community, your children, your families, do not hesitate. This is the month of rewarding. This is the month of istighfar, the month of khayrat.
Imam Hussein ﷺ is a name that unites us all, and this is the one area where we can put aside our differences and come together. I hope that the viewers at home will help donate to the channel and to build a platform for the future generations.
I stand here before you, my dear brothers and sisters, to invite one and all to donate generously to ensure that the message of Ahlul Bayt alayhimu salatu wassalam is kept alive.
Beautiful programs we have. One of that program is Shia Voice. The Shia Voice try to bring up talented from east, from west, from north, from south. But to show this, to make this program, it needs your donation. Your generous donation, please help, please support Imam Hussein TV.
We need your generous support. With your support, there could be more documentaries. With your support, there could be more programs. With your support, Shia Voice may come to your community. We cannot continue this without your generous donations. In this holy month of Ramadan, a month of charity, a month of giving, a month of generosity, come together, join us on Imam Hussein TV and generously donate as you always have done, so we may continue to provide programs which serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and of course the holy household.